So last chapter in Unit 2, so we'll have 5, 7, Excel, and PowerPoint will be your 4 chapters for Unit 2. Fewer chapters, more questions per chapter. On the exam, you'll have same 50 questions, 2 points each for a 100-point exam. That'll be next week. All right, so this week, PowerPoint, because you're pretty familiar with it. Let me do it this way. Who has never used PowerPoint before? Never. One person. Okay. So this is a very familiar program. Most people will know how to use it. You have study guide. There is a PowerPoint actually about PowerPoint in here. Of course, you have 3 assignments this time because we're trying to hit the thing that you're familiar with for everybody. These are due October 27th, not November 17th. That will be corrected as soon as I do a sync on that grade, because in my IT lab it is October 27th when everything is due. So you have about a week and another day after this week. So we have 3 assignments: simulation and training, exam, and then your grader project. Okay. All right. So let's look at the book. I think I've already clicked it one time, so here we go. I'm going to open the book, but we're probably going to use the actual software to talk about this. And presentations, remember, are designed to enhance your presentation, your actual talk or your actual presentation in front of a group of people. It's not meant to replace the person at all, and I think that's where we make mistakes. When people begin to use PowerPoint to be the presentation, that's when they mess up. And there's common errors that happen. I'll show you a little video in a few minutes. It's called Death by PowerPoint, because they're very common errors that people do using PowerPoint. And one of the big mistakes I see students do is that they create the PowerPoint and it's like they're finished. Good presenters study up and they present the presentation they're going to give to people multiple times. Okay. And the other thing is they don't put everything on the slide. That's not the point. The point is to, if it's information, you want to inform people, you want to give them information, but you don't want to be an encyclopedia. They can read it. Just remember, if you're presenting in front of people, they're coming to see you over anything else. How you present the information is what stays with them, not that you got up and as soon as you go hear a speaker speak and they read off every slide, you remember that, don't you? You remember it because that's what the presenter did. Okay. So make sure that when you're making a presentation that you are planning, first of all, that this needs to be graphical. It needs to be pictures, more pictures than anything else. Remember, if you were watching television and all you saw was a bunch of writing, what would be the first thing you did? You would change channels, right? That's what we're talking about when you go to present information. Now, let's say it's a financial thing and you're showing a bunch of Excel data sheets, right? And that's your presentation. You're trying to present the reasons why the budgeting committee should put away $40,000 for this new project and all the costs along with that project. There's no way to make that fun. There's no way to not show figures and to not show in-depth information. The majority of us will never present something like that. Never. Okay? What we're going to present will be either findings from something that is pertinent to the company, to our business, something we're going to promote, right, and try to do. There'll be different reasons that we need to present. Or maybe we're working for a nonprofit and we want to get people more involved, and we're saying reasons why they should be involved. That's a whole different presentation, isn't it? So I think matching your PowerPoint to what you're presenting is critical. The other thing is don't let that be the end all, because it's not. You are always more important. So number 1, when you start PowerPoint 2022, the window displays theme, thumbnails, and a blank presentation. So let's just see if that's true. Let me open PowerPoint. While that's opening, I'm going to see if I can't find a few. from our information here. Pause. I'm opening a few while I'm looking at that particular beginning slide. So let me show you that one. So when you click on PowerPoint and open it, one of the things that's going to come up, one of the first things that's going to come up is thumbnails, right? So if I open PowerPoint and I just click it and it opens blank, right? These are all templates I can choose from. And notice a blank presentation is also a template. And it's a template because you have to have some things applied. There has to be a font size, style. There has to be actual placeholders applied, the type of presentation. So there is some things in the background, but it is blank. And the reason it's a template is because you cannot overwrite it. It's going to make you rename it. That's the point of using a template. It's blank. I can fill it in and I can use it. So when you first open PowerPoint, it's going to say, what do you want to do? Do you want to try out one of these templates? And I'm going to say anytime you can use a template that would work well in an audience, use it. Now, there's also rules with that. In this classroom, or if I was doing a presentation in a big area, I probably would not go dark with light. For one thing, it's too dull, okay? I may not would go with this one, dark with light in here. It needs to be a brighter look whenever you're making a presentation like that. Yes. Yes. Yep. Yeah. Yeah, I almost would go with the blank presentation because what happens when you have something like this and you go to print it, you see you're going to have all of this around it because it's going to print by slide, not by. Now, for that, I'm going to say not everything needs to be in a PowerPoint for him. Okay. Like information about him and what qualifies him to be student of the year probably is not, PowerPoint's not the best place. What I'm saying PowerPoint's great for is images. Images, you can put them in here and manipulate them. Okay, and if you need to print them out, you can actually print them out the way you need them to print out from here. Or you can create the image in here the way you want it and save it into Word and print it. That way you have the more dimensional in Word because it's a portrait look instead of this. This is a widescreen look, and it should be because most of the time we're presenting wider screen than tall, always, typically in presentation. So we'll talk about it some more, okay? Number 2, the slide pane is located on the blank side, left side of the PowerPoint window when you start a new file. So left side over here, this is your slide pane. So when we have one that's full or has some slides, you're going to see little thumbnails of each slide over here on the left-hand side. And then whichever one is selected is you're seeing it up here in the editing piece. Number 3, editing a presentation means making changes, adding or deleting slides, or modifying slide content. So anytime you're changing any piece of it, and you can manipulate, go through each slide, look at it, determine what needs to change or what needs to look better or bigger or whatever else, and make those changes. Number 4, the notes pane is part of the normal view and displays below the slide pane, below. So basically the notes pane is right here at the bottom. It's right below the slide pane. Here's your slide pane. The notes is right here at the bottom. When you click it, it's going to actually open up a window for you to add information. Okay. And you can manipulate it further. A two-headed arrow resizes, four-headed arrow moves. So I can manipulate it. This is where you would put a lot of your notes. This is how people speak, because the notes piece here is never shown to the audience. The audience will never see the notes. The notes are for the presenter. Typically, when you have a dual screen, when I project something over here, I could see my notes on this screen and be talking to you. You never see that I'd have notes. You're never going to see those. Another advice to you as an instructor is anytime you get notes from someone that's providing notes about something, and sometimes it's a presentation that from a skilled person that represents a brand, look at the notes when you get the PowerPoint. Okay, you may have other references there that you did not receive in the presentation, because again, part of this is holding a coin in your pocket when you present. Always hold a coin in your pocket. What I mean by that is always have extra more information than what you have on that slide that you're providing. Okay, because remember, they're not coming to see a presentation, a PowerPoint. They're coming to see you represent a brand or represent your reason for presenting in front of a group of people. So you always hold a nugget in your pocket. You always hold a coin in your pocket, something that more information than what you would ever put on the slide. You don't want them getting everything from the slide. If that's the case, print it out and hand it to them. They ain't got to come see you. But the goal of most presentations is beyond what is written. It's beyond what's put on a piece of paper. I bet you if we had your son come in here and we only looked at his written information, we would get only a partial picture of who your son is, right? That's the concept. That's the idea of PowerPoint. It enables you to present way beyond what somebody can grasp from just reading something. Number 5, a special tab appears on the ribbon when a picture or image on a slide is selected. So I'm going to show you that. Anytime you click on a picture, basically, you see a new slide or a new tab open up. And this is that hidden form that has been happening with PowerPoint and all of the Microsoft Office suite, because they know at the point that you're clicking on a picture, you need picture tools, but you don't need it unless you're clicking on a picture. You have intent to fool with this picture some kind of way, right? And whether that is actually cropping a picture, to make it smaller. And notice this one is already cropped. Anytime you crop and you don't remove the crops, then what happens is it always stays. Right? Cropping just says, I want you to see this part of the picture. Okay? And what happens if I just really want you to hone in on a particular piece of this picture? I can crop it even further and I can align your eye to see the piece that I want you to see. Okay, that is what cropping does. It does not remove parts of the image. It shrinks your visual of the image. Okay, and in this case, we've shrunk it to the bottom pieces here because all of this, it gets too airy. It gets too much you're not seeing what they want you to see. Okay. Number 6, a style. Style is a set of formatting options that can be applied to pictures, text, and objects. So if I take this and I click it again and I apply some kind of style to it, I can pick it from these options right here and choose something that even gives it another elevation of look, right? It looks like I didn't just throw the picture on there and do nothing to it, right? Now there's a shadow down below it. It actually has a different type of angle. You may hate that. That's fine. You can choose a different one, right? But there are styles that allow you to manipulate this and make it look a little more professional than it would have if you had done nothing to it. Okay, that's the point. Number 7, pressing the F5 key starts the slideshow from the beginning. I'll show you that. So I'm on slide 4 of this presentation. If I press F5, it starts at slide 1 every time. Okay, so F5 starts a presentation at slide 1. Number 8, at the end of every presentation, there is a black slide. That's what I'm showing here, number 8, black slide. And the reason it is because it knows you're going to an end. All right, so this being said, you never need to put a the end slide. Never, never. Okay, that is your job as a presenter to help people understand you're at the end of your presentation. Thank y'all for coming. I appreciate your attendance. And look, if you need more information, please email me at pennywarner@ladelta.edu. I'd be glad to give you more information about our upcoming events and things that we've discussed today. Does that sound like I'm closing this out? I'm at the end of my presentation. I'm almost finished. I'm glad y'all came. Y'all gonna be leaving. You see that? I mean, I didn't have to put a the end slide. I didn't have to do anything like that. You didn't even have to hear the other part of my presentation. I can lead you to the point that we're finished, right? That is the goal. That's one point of this, but the main thing is never putting the end slide. You don't need one. You need to be the one leading the group. Number 9, a header prints at the top of a presentation. Wait, a header prints at the top of each sheet of slides or note pages, slide handouts or note pages, sorry. All right, so that means that when I'm adding a header, and I'm gonna do insert, header, footer, notice notes and handouts is my option, because the only time you put a header in there typically would be if you're gonna print it and hand it out to people, right? Or print it for somebody else to evaluate, to tell you if you misspelled a word or it needs, rearrangement, whatever you need to do here, okay? So I can add actually a page number. I can put in a header and put the type of presentation is. I can put a footer, right? I can actually include the file name in the footer if I wanted to. All right, so there's a bunch of options here. Number 10, the widescreen format of PowerPoint 2022 uses an aspect ratio of 16:9. That's under design. When we look at design, we look at slide size, and there's widescreen 16:9. Okay, and that's the one selected here. Anytime you're presenting in public, typically our presentation modes, whether it's like these projectors or one on a screen pushing it to somewhere, you're always going to be wider than you are tall. Okay, it's just like the old movie theater drive up movie look. Okay, it's wider than it is tall. Number 11, changing the appearance of text layouts and our designs on a slide is called formatting. So if I change anything here, right, if I move things around, adjust, manipulate, I can do that. Number 12, a variant provides different options for the theme, style, and color. So a variant. Basically what we have here is a design that was chosen, which is, I don't know what this design is, retrospect. But I have variants of this color. So if I don't want that with that dark gray, I could choose the green or this brown looking color. I could even go darker with this darker color, right? So these variants of this particular theme, and that happens with everything. So it doesn't matter which theme you pick. And notice when you pick one, it applies it. Themes are designed for the entire thing, right? So it applies it across the board to every slide, typically, as a default. Number 13, text alignment refers to the horizontal placement of text within a placeholder. And I'll show you that right here on this one. Let me go back to this original. No, I don't like that one here. Okay, so basically what it means is in this box that's selected, where is the placement of the information written? And notice this one is left aligned. If I change it, notice it doesn't go by the edges of the slide. It goes by the box that's selected. In this case, this is the title placeholder. So if I align this by alignment options, it is doing it within this box. It is not doing it outside of the box. Number 14, slide sorter view. Slide sorter view. I'll show you that. This is this little window down here on the presentation view. So when you click the little window, you get slide sorter. The purpose of this, well, let's say you have a presentation that you're doing, you have 10 slides. And one place you present this, you need an emphasis of one thing. When you present it to another group of people, you need an emphasis of something else. So you trade them around, right? You use the one presentation, and look, people who present some of the same presentations repeatedly at different places. And let me tell you, by the time they've presented it 2 or 3 times, they've gotten really good at it. The other thing that they know is who and what questions are going to be asked. In fact, great presenters lead you to the point of asking a question that you've intentionally left out the answer all along the way to get the audience involved and ask this particular question at the end. Okay? So when I'm here and I'm looking at slide sorter view, now it's real easy for me to manipulate my slides, right? Maybe I don't want this, I'm gonna put this at the end, right? Or I'm gonna split it between the two, right? I'm gonna put day 2 itinerary, day 1 itinerary, and put the national park in the middle. Now this is a short presentation. There's not many options to change it around, but in reality, if you had one longer presentation with multiple slides and different audiences, you would do this. Number 15, the blank key allows you to select a group of non-contiguous, a group of contiguous slides. Contiguous means just in order slides. Shift key, shift. So let me show you that in here. So if I click on the first one, hold my shift key and click on the last one, notice it selected them all in order. Boom, first to last. Works in a lot of different ways. Let me show you another option. What about files? So I'm going to click on the first one, hold my shift key, click on the last one. Notice works there too. So this is a IT thinking concept, not PowerPoint concept. Control and shift selections are typically across the board, not just in PowerPoint. Same thing for number 16. The control, CTRL key, allows you to select a group of non-contiguous slides. Well, not just slides, but in here as well. So let me try the slides first. So maybe I just want the first slide and the third slide. Okay, if I do shift, notice it selects them all in between. If I click on the first one, hold control, click on the third one, now I have just those 2 slides selected. You see that? Well, let's try that in files here. So let's click on one, and I'm just going to randomly click, but I'm holding control down. Notice now I've got 1, 2, 5 slides selected. They're not right beside one another. They're individual, and I could move those where I wanted to. Control and shift are your friends, even outside of PowerPoint. Number 17, increasing the list level of a bullet increases its indentation and reduces text size. Text size. So text size is text. 16 was control. 15 was shift. All right, so what we're talking about here is this information. Let's say I increase the list level. Watch it, it's going to move to the right, and the text shrinks. Every time I click it, it increases that level and decreases the text size. It works just the opposite the other way. If I decrease the list level, it increases the size of the text. Okay, they work in tandem, exactly opposite. Number 18, the font color, and style of bullets are determined by the presentation's theme. So if I apply, notice the coloring here that goes right along with the coloring that's in the presentation already. I have square bullets, I have round ones, open round ones, these diamond looking ones. I'll do the diamond looking ones. I kind of like those. Those are different. But notice they match the theme. They're not some random color, purple or red or something that's completely contrary to the theme. The theme will give you options that relate to the theme. Number 19, dashed lines that help align objects on a slide are called smart guides. Smart guides. And that happens a lot of times when you're adding an image. Notice the dashed lines. They help get you lined up exactly where you need to be on a slide. These are great. I'm going to just say they help you keep things lined up and they help you get it exactly where it needs to be. Okay. I just moved that image around. When I was moving it, as soon as I start moving it, I'm going to see them appear. And in fact, they're giving me that first line I saw is the middle of the slide. Okay, now I can, and then now I'm in line with the left side. Notice I get that line going across. Now I'm in line with the left side. These, and then if I move over to the right, notice it's showing me when I'm in line with the far right hand side, with the far right margin. Okay, so those lines help guide me to get that all straight. You sure can. Yep. Good. Yes. Yep. You sure can. Yeah. You could actually add multiple pictures here. And if I don't get to it in here, I'm going to tell you a important piece about doing that. Number 20, to remove unwanted areas of an image, you use the crop tool. I think I showed you that a minute ago with this first image. Let me see how this one looks. I'm going to go to crop on it and see, okay, it's been cropped exactly to its size. If I click on this one and go to crop, remember this picture is a lot bigger than actually what we're seeing. We didn't know that until we went to crop to see the other pieces of it cropped out. Okay. Number 21, ruler guides show up as dotted red lines on the vertical and horizontal rulers. Basically what that means is anytime I click on something or click in a placeholder, right, I'm getting a red line to show me where I'm located, right? Notice there's my mouse right there, is showing me on that ruler and the left ruler. So I'm seeing it over here on the left ruler and I'm seeing it on the top ruler where my mouse pointer is located. Okay, those little dotted dashed red lines is what we're talking about. Number 22, the eyedropper tool captures the exact color from an object on your slide. I'm going to say this is the trick of the ages. I just love this little trick. This trick allows you to choose a color that's already in existence on a slide and apply it somewhere else. I'll give you an example. This one-day itinerary. All right, so let's say we needed to add something to this, maybe just a text box that says, sign up now. Seats limited. And this is we're promoting something. Maybe we're doing a raffle or we're trying to get people to participate in this. I want them to attend. And I'm just adding a little additional piece here to get people to just convey the message. Now, I'll say that multiple times if I'm presenting this to get people to attend, but I'm just adding it to the slide so they're visually seeing it, they're hearing it through their ears repeatedly, right? Now, to make this stand out, here's the trick. If you click on an object, or in this case, maybe I'm trying to format this and I'm going to add a shape fill. I'm going to add a fill to that background. Notice the eyedropper. Okay, I have this box selected, shape fill, go into eyedropper. I want to always choose something that's already in existence on the slide. I'm going to tell you why in just a minute. Notice that slide, I didn't have to figure out by 100 times, oh, is that the matching color and all that stuff? No, I just went one time, boom. I've got the color that is in this particular image. Now, the reason that's important, when you're presenting, a lot of people want to try to put 50 different colors on one slide. It brings anxiety to your audience. Now, if you're going for anxiety, you know, maybe trying to raise everybody's blood pressure about something, that may be a way to go. But most of the time, we don't want the presentation to be the thing that takes over and drives people's responses. You want the information that you're providing, the reason that you're there, to be the thing that motivates, right? This keeps it very calm. You, as an audience member, may never realize what is okay about this box. Now, obviously, we can see that these are the same color, or we think our mind picks it up that they're the same color. But sometimes you want to sneak in a picture or color from a picture, and that calms the slide because it's familiar. The audience member doesn't have to know why it feels familiar, okay? You're just doing that to help the audience when they're listening to your presentation, okay? Love the eyedropper tool. Number 23, word art is a gallery of text styles that you can apply to your slides. So word art, and notice as soon as I clicked word art, it takes the theme that I'm in, gives me options. All of these fit with this particular greeny blue theme that I have going on. So any of these would kind of work, right, within my slide. So if I needed to put something, I can actually grab one and then just add my text to it, right, and allow it to be on the slide. And it's okay. It fits okay with that particular color is okay. It fits within the theme that is applied. Number 24, smart art is a type of visual representation used to organize information. Representation. So let's say we needed a new slide and I needed to, I'm going to change this layout. This one. And maybe I need to add a smart art graphic. And I need to add maybe a list of what people needed to do. Notice as soon as I clicked it, I have options up here to change it. I can make it a 2-station, 3-station list, whatever I need to do, add information to it. And notice as I hold my mouse on it, I hadn't clicked on these. As I hold my mouse, it will actually manipulate it on screen and show me what that would look like if I chose that option. Okay. The beauty of a smart art is that I have a little piece here where I can type in it, right? Type the pieces that I want to come across on the slide. And then it's giving it some, you know, extra. It's not just a plain old list on the slide that's boring, right? Maybe it's still a list, but it actually has some color to it. Number 25, you can change the theme colors for your presentation from the design tab. So anytime you change themes, it's in the design tab. So you can pick whichever theme you choose. Let's try that one and see what it looks like. Now it goes to kind of blue, or I can choose the green. There's lots of them. Just know that your font selection and location on each slide changes as well. So anytime you've created a presentation and then you go back and change the theme, you have to go back and notice too, when I did word art, it changed the color of my writing to fit the new theme. I didn't have to worry about that, right? I didn't have to make sure that it fit, that it was accurate. I just changed themes and applied it, and boom, now I've got that applied. Okay, now this one's looking kind of out of whack, so I'm going to apply it to selected slide. Maybe it's just got a background theme on it or something that's different. All right, so to your point, let me go ahead and explain this. When you create a slide with multiple images, so let's say we need a slide with lots of images. I'm going to start with a blank slide. And I'm going to go to picture or insert, and I'm going to look at pictures, and I'm going to try to pull something that's on this computer, which is probably not going to be much. Nope, of course not. Okay, so let me see if I can find something. I got pictures here. Here we go. We got loads of pictures. All right, so let's say I'm going to just add a bunch of me. There's my grandbaby. I got to put him on there. So let me add. I'm going to do hold control because they're not right beside one another. I'm just going to throw a bunch of pictures on here and let it insert them. Okay. Now what's happened is all of them are selected. Do you see that? You see the dots everywhere, right? So basically, how many of you did like the old, do you remember doing the pyramid when you were a kid? Where you had the strong people on the bottom, most of the guys. Then the next group, the people get on their backs and everybody was kind of hunched down, and then the lightest person was on the top, right? PowerPoint works the same way. It looks like this is all together. These are actually planes. Everything is on its own plane. Here's where geometry comes into play. Everything is listed in a different plane. I'll show you how that happens. So let me click off of it somewhere. I'm going to press escape to get rid of all the selection. Notice this one, the last one added, is the most important one, but you notice it's above every other, and I inserted them all at the same time. But remember, it orders this according to how they're, every time it's going to do this, right? It's going to, let me just start shrinking them down some so I can see them all. Remember, this was the first one, and notice it's below everything. Watch, when I move it under, it goes on, it just slips under everything. Notice that? This is the idea of the pyramid. So think of it as a pyramid every time you add something. And that's not just images. That works as well for any kind of word art, any object. The last thing added is the most important. Okay? Or it's given the highest precedent. Now that's why this is the way this works. That's why when you right click on a picture, you can, look at there, send to back, bring to front. So now I can manipulate them. They just have to have a starting point. So they use the old concept of a pyramid, right? To make it to where, so if I send that one to back, how far back did it go? I don't think it went anywhere, did it? All right, so let me try the other one. Send to back. There it went. Now it's below. Now I'm starting, do you see that? I'm starting to order these planes, these images in planes. My grandbaby. Oh, he's not much older than that picture. He was he's just started walking, so he's just not much older than that. All right, so and then you can manipulate them. Of course, we could do our cropping and crop these images where you just have pictures of a face or whatever. Oop, missed it. You got to grab the corners because if you don't, it messes it up. So you can crop. Just know that that pyramid selection, right? Now look at there. See, I can even get grandbaby. And then once I do that, then I can make him bigger. Okay. Now this is where resolution comes into play. You know, we don't think about resolution until we're doing this. Notice how grainy his little face became because the image was taken at a level of resolution, and now I've stretched those pixels. Those pixels are saying, oh, we at our far end. We cannot go any further. So I'm gonna make it grainy to show you that that picture is I've maxed it out, right? All right, so I can always shrink it back, but now I've got just a picture of him and his lolly, and so then I can crop these other ones. I just want you to see that you can take images and manipulate them how you need to or whatever, right? And notice when you crop it, until you delete the cropped pieces, they're still there. So if I click on any image like this one and I hit crop again, notice it's the big picture, right? It didn't get rid of everything. It just says, I want you zoning in on this. I'm gonna help you focus on the baby, right? Now another piece of this, especially when you're doing PowerPoints, because they get big really fast, is compression. This is that compression we've talked about before. I'm going to show you in particular. I'm going to click on this one in particular, and I'm going to go to compress pictures. Notice the options here. I can apply just the one I have selected. No, I'm going to apply it to every image in here. So I'm going to uncheck that item, right? And then I can choose the resolution sometimes. Sometimes it only gives me the default resolution. That's fine, right? So I'm going to apply this. And I can also delete cropped areas. So when we come back to this picture and look at cropped, it should be gone, right? So I'm gonna click OK. I think I have to save it first. Let me save it as something else. Put it in downloads. Okay, so now when I come back to this one, let's look at it this time under crop and notice, well, that was just the picture that it was. Uh-oh, I moved it out of its crop area. So now it doesn't have that crop behind it. So do you see how in size-wise, you can really compress what you have in your presentation by that compression and by deleting those cropped areas. In fact, your PowerPoint in the class, when I pull them from the website that offers these, which is Pearson has all the PowerPoints. They were probably 20 megs each. I went through every one of them, did compression. Now they're 1.2 megs. Do you see how much? Nothing changed. And in the presentation is so fabulous is we've used images that are so of high resolution that it requires that amount of room. So you can always shrink it by compression if you need to. And a lot of times that happens with PowerPoint. PowerPoint gets really big because it is graphics. You're trying to produce something that's, people want to come see a picture, don't we? We say that, what's our saying about pictures? Pictures say how many words? 1,000, right? Why would I restrict what I'm trying to get across by just what I say, right? You want to allow this to enhance your presentation, right? And in one way you would actually, like when I told you earlier, hold a nugget in your pocket or hold a coin in your pocket. One of the ways you would do that, just let's say this slide, if you're looking at this slide, right? It's showing an image that you're going to go to probably within this itinerary, right? It's telling you the pieces you're going to do. You would have an additional thing that you're going to have in this trip that everybody would want to do, and you're going to say it. You're not going to put it on here, right? That's a nugget in your pocket or a coin in your pocket. You're trying to capture your audience during the time with which you're presenting to them, okay? And people who are really interested, that one little piece may be the thing that puts them to go sign up, right? Remember, our seats are limited. You can't just wait till next week. This week it ends. Friday it ends. But the earlier you are, you may get to go to the one and only breakfast with whoever, whatever, if you sign up this week. That sounds intriguing, doesn't it? It's like, man, I need to go sign up, right? Here, where's the button? In fact, you'd have a QR code. Click it, sign up, right? That's the idea. So use PowerPoint in a way to present in a manner that you get the people's attention. All right, any questions, comments about PowerPoint? Number 22 is color. Color. Anybody else? 3? 3 is editing. Editing. Hmm? Yes. 19 is guides. Guides.